Hey everyone. I hope you all are having a warmer day than what I'm experiencing outside here at my house. But in spite of the fact that it's chilly, I am still wearing more of a t-shirt. I'm still wearing my comfy clothes. I do have a heater on, so if you see my hair blowing, that's why. But I am on today to talk to you about something that we deal with every January or February, as the case is, because I'm a little late working on mine in my business. So it happens from time to time, but depending on your fiscal year, so we're going to start there. So fiscal year, in your business, mine goes from January to December. So I try in January to do the housekeeping things, okay, for my business. So that being said, if you have a different fiscal year, then that could alter your housekeeping timeline. There we go. Okay, so what do I mean by fiscal year? So that means the 12 months that you record with the IRS your business operating time frame. So from the time that you started your business to the time that you end, that is your reporting year with the IRS. All right. So that's your fiscal year. I like to go with the calendar year. Other businesses go with different time frames based off of when they started as an organization or as a company or sole proprietor, whatever type of business you might have. So that being said, what do I mean by a list of housekeeping activities at the beginning of every year? So no matter when your year starts. Well, here's what I mean by that. Cleaning out the old, just like when we think about our house, we do the same thing with our businesses. So cleaning out the old files, bringing in or preparing for the new files. So I'm going to make this short, sweet, and to the point is my plan. So hopefully you will find this beneficial. So at the beginning of every year, what I like to do is I like to go into all of my files and take out so I took out all of the 2020 files. So all of my my accounts receivables, accounts payables, so that would be all of my expenses, and all my accounts receivables would be all of my forms of payment receipt that I've received from my clients. Okay, so I took all of those and I am putting them together in a file box to put in the basement. So I am a sole proprietor, which means that my business is solely owned by me, and it's not large enough that I need to keep it separate from my personal finances. Okay, so as a business grows and changes and you have employees and things of that nature, you may look at needing to change your company type so that your personal finances cannot be held against you or connected to you in the event of legal action. Okay, so that being said, that is a different video, but what I wanted to talk to you about today is how I separate those out. So I pull all of those files. It's really important that we create a tax folder for every year. And the tax folder will help whether you do your own taxes or you take them to a tax preparer, so a tax accountant, which I highly recommend. I do my own taxes, but I've been doing this for a really long time, and for 3 years I went to a tax accountant and I loved it to an extent, but found out that I was spoon feeding them most of the information anyway, so that, I literally was doing their job and paying them money to submit the paperwork, and so yeah, it saved me a little bit of time, and time is money, but I didn't want to continue to spend that money. So any tax forms that you receive in the mail, you're going to want to put all of those together in a file. Any monies that you have earned and you might receive a 1099 or a W-2, you want to put all of those together in a file. Any investment statements you want in a file. Any purchases that you have made for your business, you want receipts or copies of the receipts for all of that, including Amazon, Sam's Club, any of your online purchases, any in-person purchases. If you are claiming mileage or gasoline, you can't do both. You can only do one. So you have to choose one and stick with it. You need copies of all your receipts for that. So record keeping is very important when we think about housekeeping items, especially in tax preparation. So I have a tax file folder for that, and I'm accumulating all of my information so that it makes it that much easier, including the beginning mileage and ending mileage for every year, so that I am able to process my taxes more quickly and more efficiently. So I do use the third, okay, so the third 3 cut file folders, and then I use either my label maker, or I do file folder labels that you can put through your printer. I like the Avery 8066. That's my preference. They're removable. That's why I like them. All right. So you can use your filing drawer. I have limited space, so in my desk, I have an L-shaped desk. So on one side, I keep all of my old records, and I keep 2 years available in the event that I have to pull things for record keeping maintenance items or for documentation for the past. I try to keep 2 years available, past 2 years, so I'll have 20 and 19 in the drawer. And then the current files I have off to the other side. So depending on how much space you have, how many filing cabinet space you have available, you could have a very different organizational process. So the old information you'll see is ready to be filed. Look at that. It's crazy busy. And I have sorted out 2019 business receipts, 2019 personal receipts, and then I have all of my documentation here, and it looks really messy. Okay, so I finally have found my shredder. Well, you know, things happen. And it's not something I use every day, so I did go and pull all of my old information. So one of the housekeeping items is to look at all, going into the storage area and finding all of the past documents, all right? So because I'm a sole proprietor, for tax purposes, I need to keep documentation for the past 7 years. So depending on the type of company you are and the type of industry that you have. So type of company being sole proprietor, LLC, S Corp, corporation, those types of things. Maybe you have a partnership or something. Okay, you're going to want to track years back, at least 7 years. Now, if you have a compliance type of business, so you have to keep compliance records for the state and federal or federal government, then you're going to want to keep if you're a sole proprietor, LLC, you know, so if you can be connected back to, your business can be connected back to your personal finances, this is very important, then you are going to want to keep your business records for the last 10 years, as well as your personal finance files for the last 10 years. If your company that you have has some form of state, local, federal compliance regulations attached to that business. Okay, so that's important to note. If you're ever audited by the IRS, they can go back 10 years for those businesses. Most of the time, they go back 7 years if they decide to audit. Okay, so that's the important housekeeping tip and trick. Okay, so go back 10 years. So I was in my basement because that's where all of my old documents are stored. And I found all of my file boxes that have old documents in them. So now that I have found my shredder, I'm going to be shredding anything that is older than 7 years, so that housekeeping tip so you saw my shredder is up here. Look at that. I mean, my office is a smidge messy, but I have the shredder. This box all has to be shredded. It has 2011, 2012 finances in it, so I will be going through this box and shredding it. And then I will use the same box over again and put the 19 files in it. So I can get those, or 18, 19 files in. I'll get it, whatever it is. I'm keeping 2 years in my drawer, and then I'll put the rest in the basement. So I'm trying to purge out and reorganize, purge out the old, and I've restarted all of my new. Now, I keep all of my new. I have a lovely, because I'm small, right? So for my clients, I do things very differently based off of the size of their company and their needs and their space, right? So for mine, I have my personal receipts, and I have this lovely little organizer that allows me to organize by month. And I put all of my personal receipts in here. So I track them. If I make online purchases, I print at the time that I make the purchase. I print and I put those in here. If they are specific to a business receipt, a medical expense, anything other than personal gifts, I also print those out separately and file those differently in case I have to give somebody a gift receipt back so they can make an exchange or return. Okay. Then all of my other business receipts, okay, I try to keep anything travel related separate in its own file folder, but most of my typical expenses for business are in then this expandable folder, okay, to help keep things organized. So gas receipts, and just to track my mileage, because I do use QuickBooks, I write right on my gas receipts my mileage at the time that I fill up. And then I have a separate, I do an Excel spreadsheet that tracks my business mileage versus personal mileage. I know that might sound like a lot, but it really doesn't take that much because I have it all set up with formulas and everything wonderful like that. So it doesn't take that much time at all. And here's the thing. If you do it right, and it's super easy to do, whenever I'm in my car is when I have the best opportunity to make phone calls. Now, I can only do that because I have hands-free. So there's too many laws out there right now that it's really important that you just be safe. So you need to make sure that you're hands-free. And I can do that because I have a hands-free system in my car. So as I'm traveling, even if it's from my house to my sister's house for a visit, I usually make at least one business phone call, and then I can claim that trip as a business trip. Now, because I did business while en route. So keeping that in mind. But I also try to arrange things so that it's business related at any place that I go. It doesn't always work that way, but most of the time I can do that. So keeping that in mind, we want to keep our business receipts, our personal receipts. When we're sole proprietor, it's important that we keep things separate. All right. And then anything client related, expense related, utilities all need to be kept separate and organized accordingly. Okay, so they're not all of those receipts are going to fit into, or paperwork will fit into those receipt expandable files. Oh no. I have this lovely organizer here, which I love my 31 bags. I'm so blessed with them. I know I get teased a lot because I have them, and no, I did not sell 31. But I have this all organized. So I have client files in the front, then I go to bank files, then I go to other related income files, usually related to training, etc. And then I go into all of the expenses that I might have. And then I keep things for certifications in the back. So because I have to maintain several certifications, etc. So all of this documentation is in here. It's really important that I keep all of this stuff together, and then every year I clean this out and start fresh with the file folders that I need for the upcoming year. And then I file away the old and start the process all over. But looking at my old files to get rid and purge them, and you do want to be sure when you're dealing with finances that are beyond the 7 or 10 years, depending on what you need to do to keep your files for a potential audit, is shred anything that you don't need. That's really important. One of my clients, he burns, so that's it. That's what we do. We burn all of his stuff. So burning is important, or you want to make sure that they're thoroughly destroyed in the process. Okay, so not just a little bit or you've gone and that's it. No, we don't want to do that. We want to make sure they're thoroughly destroyed. So hopefully those New Year housekeeping tips help you in preparation for your 2021. Have a great day.